Hey Mike, we got a book here?
Yeah, this was done by a local author, Aubrey Graves. It's called Supernatural Santa Cruz. And it was brought to my attention actually prior to when it was written, because Aubrey came in and interviewed me here at the museum, and our museum is a part of the book. We do have a little section in here about the Bigfoot Museum. There's even a picture of me in here. Bigfoot in the Santa Cruz Mountains, yeah. But also in here we have articles about various sites in the county of Santa Cruz that are strange for one reason or another, or somehow connected up with things that are considered paranormal or indicative of things paranormal. Let's see, here's the section on the Bigfoot Museum with a picture of our sculpture outside. And this goes into various hauntings around the county where people have seen ghosts or think they have, and points out that there are, there are a lot of books that have been popping up lately with this theme. That is, mysterious things going on in certain parts of the country. There's a whole series of books, Weird California, Weird Kentucky, so on and so forth. So this is another book of that type, dedicated to Santa Cruz, and I think it's a nice effort. There's some great pictures in here. A lot of the entries are kind of sparse. There's not too much to say in a lot of cases, but nonetheless, I think it's great that it brings these things to people's attention. So when people come into our area, they can come to the museum and maybe go see some of these other spots. For example, the Brookdale Lodge right up the road here is a place that is quite often visited by ghost hunters, because they have a number of ghosts that are seen in that area. Here's a shot of the Love Creek sign. This is there was a major washout here. Several people were killed, and there's stuff going up on Love Creek Canyon. Nobody has an idea. There are abandoned houses up there nobody's been in for years. There could easily be homeless people living up there. There could be any of a number. There could be some Bigfoot hanging out in this place. It's one of the places we've yet to investigate, because it's largely private area. It's on a private road, hard to get to. Brookdale Lodge, as I said, is just up the road. There are ghosts that are seen there. We had some people come into our museum. They told me that they had been staying up at Brookdale Lodge, and that they went on a hike around the back side of the lodge in one of the trails, and they claimed they saw a spectral dog. And they saw a dog walking along the trail that they could actually see through. Or so they claimed. I've had people come in here who've seen ghosts, some who even have little pictures where you can see something in the picture, It could have been in a double exposure, this kind of thing, but, sometimes you just have to believe people when they tell you something that it's real and when it isn't. But doesn't mean that hoaxes don't exist, and we've had to deal with those too. But speaking of ghosts, I even have a photo. One day I'll have to dig it out, because I took it way back when I was in college. I was learning photography at that time and working on a magazine, and I was taking lots of photographs and developing them in a dark room and so forth. And I came down from Stanford, as while I was in school. It's only a 45 or to an hour drive back here to the mountains, here where the Bigfoot Museum is now. And I went up to the UC campus here, and there were all these great old buildings on the campus. So I used to, it's a common subject of photographs, old buildings and ghost towns and things. And so I was shooting some pictures, and I went back to my lab at Stanford, into the darkroom, and I developed this print. And I'm looking at the print, and all of a sudden I look, and here, there's a big barn in the background, there's this field, there's a picket fence running along the edge of the road in the foreground, and right in front of the picket fence there's this shape. And the shape is it seems to be totally anomalous to the rest of the picture. And I kept looking at the thing and trying to analyze what it seemed to be, and it seemed like it was semi-transparent, but it looked like a little girl with a bonnet of some sort. And so I put the picture aside. I showed it to a few people. Said, "Look, it looks like a ghost." Yeah, yeah. People said, "Yeah, it looks like a little girl in a bonnet." And years later, when I started this museum and I was doing some research into the local area, I was reading about Henry Cowell, the man who gave the property up where you see Santa Cruz is built right now. He was a lime baron. He made his money selling lime and mining lime in the area. And, of course, he was a major property owner. And it appears, according to the history book that I read, that there was an accident on the homestead, which was up now where the university is. That's where Cowell lived. And his daughter, a little girl, was killed in a buggy accident. And so from time to time people see this little girl in her bonnet on campus. And I had no idea of that story when I took that picture at Stanford those many years before, with the apparent little girl in the bonnet on the picture.